Coming up in this program, I look at the impact that the chronic disease of diabetes is having on the youth of Ghana and what's being done by a few champions to tackle it.
So we are seeing a lot of complications of diabetes whereby people are coming in blind from diabetes. People are having amputations from diabetes. And unfortunately, most of these ones come in, and at the point in which there's trouble, that's when they are diagnosed. So the problem is there, the problem is rife, it's just that we need to create more awareness.
Diabetes is a chronic disease caused when the body is unable to sufficiently balance the blood sugar levels. According to the International Diabetes Federation in 2015, more than 400 million people around the world have diabetes, accounting for 1 in every 11 people globally. Additionally, on the African continent, more than 2/3 of cases are undiagnosed, the highest of all the world's regions.
Animal fats, chicken.
But in Ghana, in West Africa, 2 amazing charities have been set up to tackle head-on the problems caused by a lack of detection and low social awareness. Reverend Lomo-Mainoo and his wife, Reverend Gifty, set up the charity Nicole's Helpline in 2011 in memory of their 17-year-old daughter, Nicole, who passed away after suffering with type 1 diabetes for 3 years. I joined them at an awareness-raising event, which they're running on behalf of Nicole's Helpline, to find out more about their decision to set up the charity connected to so much pain.
Nicole's Helpline Foundation is a foundation that was set up in memory of our daughter Nicole, who was diagnosed with the condition of type 1 diabetes at the age of 14 and unfortunately passed at the age of 17 after a brief illness. But when she was diagnosed with the condition, we were also very ignorant about the condition. So we found a lot of information about the condition, put up so much information together. When she passed, we decided, why don't we also share this information with somebody else who might be going through the same thing but doesn't have access to all the knowledge that we have, acquired.
In terms of what's happening today, I see there's a lot of fun going on, there's activities. Why the need for all of this?
Today, we want to create awareness. Diabetes is a condition that people may have heard of it, but don't really understand. So we have doctors, medical assistants, and laboratories, here to screen for blood sugar, and then also consult for people who don't understand what diabetes is, and those who have diabetes to also consult, the doctors who are here. And we also want to encourage young people to do a lot of outdoor sports. One problem with the future is actually obese children, because if that is not controlled now, they will grow into
To get type 2.
Exactly, type 2. So that's one of the target groups. So we have to be proactive. We have to share knowledge. We have to share information so that people will become aware of the condition. And when, in case they are diagnosed, they wouldn't be taken aback, and they would find ways of managing it very well.
Inspired by the couple, I follow their proactive advice and have my blood sugar levels tested by Dr. Yeboah, who runs the local specialist diabetes clinic and regularly supports Nicole's Helpline with free testing. Is it painful, Doctor?
No, it's not painful. Just a small stick.
So, okay, I won't look. Oh! Okay, it wasn't that bad.
And then we use the glucometer. It's 4.3.
My reading, is that a good reading?
Very, very good level.
Okay.
I say between 4 and 6, the normal blood sugar levels. We define hypoglycemia as less than 3.8. So this is a very good level.
So, Dr. Yeboah, why do you get involved with, events like this that Nicole Helpline is helping organize?
The incidence is rising in this part of the world. Our lifestyle is changing. It's now becoming more of a middle-class society. And together with this comes the higher incidence of diabetes. People are walking less. We are not farming like before. And together with this comes the change of diet. Now our diet is similar to the Western world. We have a lot more fried foods, and therefore there's a high incidence of obesity, and this is also increasing the risk of diabetes in the population. So we need to educate the masses to be able to be aware of the condition. So if you have symptoms, signs, you can come for early diagnosis, and then also for people to know that there are places that they can seek help if they have that problem.
Keen to understand more about the inspiration behind Nicole's helpline, I visit Reverend Lomo-Mainoo and his wife, Reverend Gifty, at their home, where Nicole was raised.
Thank you very much. Very welcome. All right, thank you. So, Mama, listen, let me just take you through this. This is like I'll say the last year of her life on this earth. This was when she was 16. She had long
This picture
hair.
here?
This picture was when she was 16.
Let's have a look at, okay.
And then when she turned 17 in January, she decided to cut her hair and get a new look and look more ladylike. So she cut her hair, and this was when she was 17. This was in January.
And
this
one
was
here?
in June, a few weeks before she passed. You know, she had braided her hair because they were going to take exams, so she wouldn't have time. So
A few weeks before.
a few weeks before.
She looks like the picture of health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about the kind of child that Nicole was before you found out about her diagnosis.
Right, okay. Nicole was our second daughter. She was our biggest baby. During her childhood, she was very lively. She was very active. You know, she would drink a lot of water, wee a lot, and then we thought that it was normal for somebody who was that active. And then somewhere along the line, she also started getting sometimes moody, sometimes lethargic. And we thought that probably she was being lazy at that point in time. But all in all, she was more fun and more bubbly and more active than the other aspects. So probably we didn't take it, you know, that aspect seriously. Until at the age of 14, we picked her from school once. She came over to my office to study. And then she called me from the washroom that she was feeling too tired to come out herself. So I picked her up and we took her to the hospital. And for 3 days we were at the emergency ward, and it was confirmed that she had the condition. And then my mind went back to all those things that probably were telltale signs that because I didn't have any knowledge about the condition, you know, I ignored. So basically, if I knew some of what I know now about diabetes, probably, I don't know, I can't tell whether my daughter would still have been alive.
It's so sad to hear their story, yet inspiring to know that out of the tragedy came their drive to start the charity.
Families may have people with type 1 diabetes in there, but they usually keep that to themselves. But we decided that, hey, let us tell the general public, let everybody know about it, so that if you have the symptom, you seek advice as early as possible. And that is something that can be managed. So that is what we've been doing, and that has been our motivation, that there shouldn't be another beauty Nicole of another family passing away.
Since Nicole's death, the family meet regularly to support each other. So I take the opportunity to chat to Nicole's sister and brother, Dorothy and Joseph, about their parents' decision to set up the charity.
The start of everything is not always the best. You know, if something bad happens to you, there's two ways you can take it. You can either take it in a good way, or you can sit and sob. I'm thankful that I have parents that are actually strong and that can actually think not out of the box, but use the pain to create something that will affect other people in a good way. People that could have been affected by the same pain. I think it's a very good initiative. I'm proud to be the son of my dad who thought this whole thing up, and I hope it's going to stay even after us, hopefully.
Type 1 diabetes is mostly found in teenagers. So in order to best reach them, Nicole's helpline enlists the support of Nicole's former classmates from Roman Ridge School in Ghana's capital, Accra, to help raise awareness at fundraising events. Today, Reverend Lomo-Mainoo is at the school recruiting new student volunteers, as well as meeting with outgoing students to thank them for their voluntary efforts with the charity.
Well, I'm here to thank you very much. I just met with the lower six formers, and they've all agreed to be with us come next year. But I hope you're not leaving us totally.
After the discussion, I chat to the girls about how the foundation has impacted upon their lives.
Well, my grandmother has type 1 diabetes, my grandfather has type 2, 3 of my uncles have type 2 diabetes. I also have a cousin that has type 1. So with so many family members, carrying diabetes with them, it was, I don't know, Nicole's death was really it really hit me. This can happen to someone I know, someone that I love. So I felt it was my obligation to make sure that I take what I learned from Nicole's Helpline and prevent it from happening to me and other people I love.
When Mr. Lomo-Mainoo came to talk to the whole form, when he introduced Nicole's helpers the first time, you could hear the emotion behind what he was saying. I honestly couldn't imagine somebody taking such tragedy and making it into such, I don't know how to say, such a beautiful thing, I guess, because, saving other people's children, even though his was lost. So that was what really got to me. That's why I decided to join.
In 2015, nearly 2% of Ghana's population between the ages of 20 and 79 years had diabetes, according to the International Diabetes Federation. And with increasing numbers of cases being found in young people, Dr. Nana Ama-Barnes set up the charity Diabetes Youth Care, which focuses on supporting young diabetic people below the age of 30 with free medical advice and subsidized treatment. The charity runs a specialist diabetes clinic at the government-funded Efia Nkwanta Regional Hospital in Takoradi in Ghana's Western region, where Dr. Barnes works as a physician specialist.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you very much. So what is this place?
This is our Diabetes Support Center, one-stop shop for diabetes care in the Western regions. Over here, we try and get all the things that you need for diabetes care taken care of. So we have our counseling room, you meet the dietitian, you meet the nurses, you have your consulting rooms, and the pharmacy is just down the line from here. So everything is taken care of when you come here. Yes, right here.
Okay, why was it important to have a separate diabetes unit from the main hospital?
We realized that they all get bunched up at one place and there's not enough room when you come to the general OPD. So we want a place where they will have enough room. We'll be able to give one-on-one counseling. You can have group counseling. We can have those options available. And consult rooms, you may have to see 2 or 3 doctors in the same place. We don't want that to happen. We want them to be able to be comfortable, talk to a doctor one-on-one without interference. So this center actually does that.
So I'm just wondering, you're a doctor, you're a physician specialist. You could be doing so many other things. But why the interest in diabetes, especially in relation to the youth?
I realized that there was a void in managing young people living with diabetes. Medical personnel were not really taking care of them properly because either lack of knowledge or having other things to do. So I decided that we have to take care of this void, take care of people living with diabetes less than 30 years so that we'll be able to manage them well so that they can meet whatever achievements and goals that they envision in life.
Let's look at this thing. We have got 3 food groups here, okay? And we are using the signal system. So we have the red foods, the yellow foods, and then the green foods. We all know what red does in the traffic light signaling. Stop, all right? So it's not good or it's bad or it's dangerous, so therefore.
The center takes a proactive approach in supporting the children, educating them at monthly meetings on the correct nutritional and lifestyle choices to enable them to control their condition and stay healthy. Afterwards, I chat with them about the challenges they face as a young person living with diabetes.
Me patchum de kaka hamini say. Yeah, one passing class and Nezima yes, you know. Yeah, what diabetes in Quanket and getting a yappy, you so you be. Yes, I say, no boy, I don't want to say, Yamahano, my ye be.
And have an hour free back.
Patchum me fear quick. It could possibly answer. I went Zimmer me patching.
How many hours now I found from home to the job?
4
And up half 4 a.m. And time and I'll be due.
Patching the due 6.
6, so about 2 hours.
Okay, me, my own problem is the money to use to buy the insulin, the glucometer, and everything. Because if you don't get, like me, for instance, I've met Dr. Barnes and I've gotten the glucometer and everything. But for those who don't have access to this facility,
so you worry about other people who don't. Speaking with the children, it's clear that there's a huge financial cost to having diabetes. So I meet with Dr. Barnes to find out what help the charity can offer. It's a lifelong, daily checking your sugars, taking insulin, especially for the type 1. Now, a lot of people in Ghana live below the poverty line. So when it comes to those who are not able to afford it, I'm sure you can't give out all the medications free. How are you able to at least go some ways to helping them manage their condition?
So it really is difficult because your health insurance doesn't cover for all your medications, for all your insulin. In even places you may not get the insulin. So what we do is this foundation, that was one of the reasons why we set up this group, Diabetes Youth Care, where we try and supplement their insulin, try and raise funds for various things like your glucometer, your strips. But we also, getting the government, the Ministry of Health, to raise awareness that this problem is there and we need to handle it properly. So if the price of insulin is going to come down for us, then it can be slipped under the health insurance, because the prices that the pharmaceutical companies are quoting are very high.
Give me an idea how much the month supply of insulin costs.
So you're looking at between about 300 to 500 Ghana cedis. If you're in the extreme, using a lot of insulin, 500 Ghana cedis per month.
Which is, what's that in dollars?
That's about $120 a month just to be able to manage diabetes. So having one diabetic in your family can change the whole family's lives. I've had families who've had to move from one place to the other to be close to a hospital so that their young person can attend clinic.
Given the impact that the condition can have on the whole family, Dr. Barnes and her team are keen to build relationships with the children's parents, often visiting them at their homes. Today, they're meeting the mother of 18-year-old Prince, who's had diabetes since he was 7. What would you say is the advantage of doing the home visits?
One thing, if they are lost to follow up, you know where to find them. And then if they haven't any problems, challenges, even getting to the hospital, once you get there, it makes things easier. You'll be able to solve the problem. And it's like you're showing concern, and that's all they want. It's just priceless.
Okay. All right. So should we make
yeah.
A key part of the home visits is to educate the family about diabetes and break down any misconceptions. Before coming to the center, Prince's mother, for example, tried using herbal medicine on her son, which had dire consequences.
So you bought So, he took herbal medicine that almost killed him.
Yes. Exactly. If you empower the parents, you empower the young people, nobody can come and toss them aside. So Prince right now, if I tell Prince, stop taking your insulin and let's go somewhere else, he's probably going to think I've gone crazy. He's not going to follow me. So he knows a lot about diabetes. So that's the whole purpose of it. Otherwise, he'll be jumping from prayer camp to prayer camp, from herbalist to herbalist to herbalist. And we don't want that. We want him to stay in school, take his insulin, and he'll be fine.
And become accountant.
Accountant, our bank manager in future.
Keen to support children outside of their center's catchment area in the Western region, Dr. Barnes and her team run monthly clinics in other parts of the country. Today, I'm joining them in Cape Coast, in Ghana's central region.
I'm going to look at about 3 or 4 things about diabetes that we're going to learn so that we'll be able to improve our knowledge. So we designed a book called ABCs of Diabetes, okay? And this tells us about diabetes and what we're supposed to know about diabetes. The reason why we do this is that so that nobody will come and tell you something. But if we inform ourselves, give ourselves enough knowledge, we'll be able to help you know what to do. So A today is autoimmune.
Following the talk, the charity's diabetic youth members have their blood sugar levels tested so that Dr. Barnes can identify any concerns.
16.7. Hey, people! I think whatever number you get, you pay that as penalty. So it's making to you. So you pay to the person with the lowest value.
So Dr. Barnes, just put it into context. I know some of the young people, their blood sugar levels were like 24, 22, 17. Just put it in context for us. What does that mean to have blood sugar levels that high?
That levels that high randomly, as in whether they've eaten or not, is very high, and it's a bit worrying. Heading towards the 20s means poorly controlled. So talking to them further, I realized that some of them had skipped their doses of insulin. One said she had to go to church, she didn't eat before going to church, so she didn't inject her insulin. So these are some of the things that we try and hammer and tell them that it's not right. Once you wake up in the morning, you have to make sure that you take your shots of insulin. And it's something we hammer day in, day out. But you see at this level, they're kids and they're trying to find every excuse not to inject, and that becomes a problem. So we're trying to encourage them to inject their insulins more often.
Okay. Do you think the fact that they're young people that is more challenging for them to live with the condition? Because obviously, I can imagine when I was a young person, I have so many things on my mind. Is that a challenge that you find with them?
Yes, they want to fit in. You're in your teens, your peers are going out for parties. Why is it that I'm not allowed to have the soda and I have to drink water? I don't want to be different. So they find it difficult because they have to stand out because of their diabetes. It's like I have to go take a shot before I eat. I don't want my friends to see me taking a shot. They may not understand. So some of them, they want to be like everybody else. They don't want to stand out. So they'll find it difficult to inject and would rather skip a shot of insulin just to blend in.
I cannot imagine how it must feel to have diabetes as a teenager. So I speak with Richard about what it was like when he was first diagnosed and how the charity helps support him.
It was at first I was very sad. I was like, why? It's like, why me? That kind of feeling I was like, your friends are not having and then you alone. Sometimes you feel bad, but every day coming to the meeting and then hearing these talks, having discussions, and then sometimes we do discussion listening to people's stories and all those things. That one gives me encouragement. So it gives you a reason to live, something like that. That's how someone will say it, because living having this and then living at home alone, you feel lonely, you don't know what to do. But once you're coming, you have an organization, a group that you come, you share ideas, you share your problems, and then I think that one gives me encouragement. I even live longer than those who don't even have those kind of diseases. So right now I'm normal.